13 years after the release of the first Alan Wake, the sequel has finally arrived to unanimous critical acclaim here in 2023, where we have the best year in video game history, or at least in a long time. And yet, Alan Wake 2 stands out as a unique experience, with it receiving numerous Game of the Year nominations across the board. And as someone who only started playing Remedy Entertainment's games a few months ago, Alan Wake 2 is, in my own personal, honest, unbiased opinion, Game of the Year. Why? Why is it Game of the Year?
That's a good question to ask going into this.
If I had to give you a singular reason for this game's success, I would have to say this guy right here, Sam Lake. He single-handedly, and by single-handedly I mean him and the rest of the folks at Remedy, made this game what it is. Sam Lake is a creative genius in every sense of the word, straight up Kojima level. It's crazy he doesn't get that much recognition. I didn't even know who he was until he turned up at Game Awards to announce the game, but I immediately fell in love with his demeanor and his snazzy suit. He has since become my favorite person on this earth. I admire the amount of work and passion he has put into all his projects, but with this one, he cooked. Alan Wake 2 is what happens when you let Sam Lake cook for 13 years. Seriously, they've been trying to make this game for that long.
Hi, I'm Sam Lake, the creative director of Remedy. I wanted to take a moment to talk to all Alan Wake fans. Next big game from Remedy won't be Alan Wake 2. For a lot of you, that can come as a surprise and as a disappointment. We worked hard to make the sequel happen. But you know, these games are huge undertakings and many things need to fall in place. The right partners and the funding. From the creative perspective, it would be awesome if we could just create cool stuff and not worry about minor details like money. But we all know that that's not the case. And even though we worked hard on it, the sequel was not happening. The time wasn't right for that.
Both Quantum Break and Control started its life as a sequel to Alan Wake, but the concepts fell apart for one reason or another. It was a tough road, and even in said games, you can see them really trying to tie in Alan Wake.
We are shooting a live-action Easter egg for Quantum Break. I'm playing FBI Special Agent Alex Casey, and with my partner, we are looking for a missing writer. Sounds familiar?
Unfortunately, it didn't take off in Quantum Break, which has numerous references and is clearly where they started trying to make the connected universe. We even got technically the first trailer for the game, which is pretty close to what the game ended up being conceptually. Check it out, it's pretty cool.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
He's been gone for 5 years.
Dark matter and dark energy constitute over 95% of our universe. We're just a speck of light floating in an endless ocean of darkness. Every story finds its writer. Wake has a bloody knife in his the light of the flashlight. He smiles a wicked smile. He lies enough with blood on his face, eyes staring. All of us have two faces. The one we wear for all to see, and the face that lies beneath in the dark.
Of course, Quantum Break never really landed too well, so Alan Wake couldn't get revived that way, but they tried again in Control. But this time, instead of putting in cheeky references here and there, they built the events of Alan Wake into the lore of Control. This got expanded upon in the AWE DLC.
My name is Alan Wake.
Wake had to escape, right? His escape.
Which ends with a pretty confident assertion that it will happen again.
It's happening again. Our return. You have been warned.
Fast forward to after a remaster of the first game with QR code video teases, which ended up really hinting at stuff in 2.
A detective solving cases of murder, corruption and madness in the Dark City. This place tapped into my unconscious mind, drew from there, twisting what it stole into a nightmare that took shape around me. A mystery. A detective story. I needed a detective to guide me. Echoes of Casey haunted me. The man, naked, crawls to the shore. Like a birth? To say that would be a lie. Nothing like a birth. The opposite. He staggers to his feet. A carcass of a deer lies on the shore, rotting amidst driftwood. The man is afraid, beside himself. Who is he? He doesn't himself know. Dark waves have washed it away. A blank page where this horror story will be written.
In 2021, the Game Awards come around, and the game is officially revealed.
I'm Sam Lake, the creative director at Remedy, and we are about to announce Alan Wake 2. It's brilliant. It's awesome. It's hard to believe that we are finally here. Here we are in Hollywood. They heard we are coming, so they put up this sign. They only got the country wrong. Close enough though. Good effort.
We're 1 day away from revealing Alan Wake 2. Sam's clearly had some coffee already.
Yes. I really couldn't be happier that it's only happening now, because so much thinking on that idea, so many versions of that idea have come and gone, but I feel that everyone in that long line of versions has been better than the previous one.
The morning of the Game Awards is happening today. Let's get ready. Starts with brushing your teeth, of course.
It's funny. It's been such a long time coming. So much hard work put into it. That every day is an emotional roller coaster, really.
We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer. Sometimes it would be better to live with that hope, without ever finding the story. This is not the story you want it to be. This story will eat you alive. This story is a monster. And monsters wear many faces.
Gotcha! All right, I'm now joined by my man, Sam Lake. Sam, thank you for coming all the way over from Finland for this. This is so exciting. Alan Wake 2, it's been a decade. Fans have been asking you for it. Why is now the right time to bring him back?
Well, Jeff, first of all, I want to say apologies. It's been raining here in Los Angeles today, It's on us.
I was
like
gonna say.
fiction leaking out into reality. So sorry. Anyway, yeah, 10 years, over 10 years. Wanting to make this, dreaming of making it, we've been iterating on the concept, and we know fans have been asking for it. We've been a bit protective. We knew this is going to be a pretty scary experience.
I was gonna say,
now we are convinced everybody is ready. You are ready.
what kind of game are we going to get for the sequel? Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah, we are breaking new ground here. This is going to be Remedy's first ever survival horror game.
Ooh,
Our take on the genre.
Yeah.
The first game had horror elements to it, but it was an action game.
Yeah.
And we feel that this is the perfect genre to bring together the story and gameplay closer than ever before. Because the story, horror story, is at the very heart of this, and it's psychological, layered, deep mystery to dive into.
You know, you are such an incredible visionary. I can't wait to see what you're doing with this game. I know you said to me a while ago this was your dream project, and I'm so honored that we got to announce this here at the Game Awards.
Looking back at the week in the LA, it could not have gone better with the announcement. It was everything we hoped it would be, and the response of you was more than we could have dreamed of. Thank you. Thank you. On Monday, we'll go back to work and aim to make Alan Wake 2 everything it can possibly be, and everything that you are hoping it to be. Thank you.
There was a bit of a hiatus in terms of new looks at the game until early this year at PlayStation Showcase and Summer Games Fest.
I'm trapped here. In this nightmare. I write to escape. Every word is a step forward. Into darkness.
I'm glad you're on this case with me, Anderson. It's right up your alley.
The victim was one of their own. FBI Special Agent Robert Nightingale.
So you knew Al Victim?
Only the rumors. He was chasing a writer.
Someone knew they were here. Was playing a game with them.
Killer left a message.
It's for us. The text is about us.
We were all trapped in a horror story. The horror story wanted us dead. There's something I'm forgetting. Something important. Something's not right!
Easy now. First things first. What's your name?
Coming to the Pacific Northwest small town of Bright Falls, together with her partner, Alex Casey.
Okay.
And of course, Sam Lake was going around all over the place promoting the game in his suit. This is what I'm talking about. What other game director is out here being the main promoter of the game? This is on top of him writing, directing, and acting in the game. And this man has all the respect I have.
Between every game project that we have made, we have done a new concept of Alan Wake 2. It's been frustrating through the years not being able to get it started and be excited about it, and then it's not happening. I think that the game we are now making is by far the most exciting, the most interesting and ambitious one out of all of those concepts, and I'm really, really happy that it's this Alan Wake 2 that we are making and none of the earlier ones.
Him and everyone have truly created an experience that thinks outside of the box and takes you on a ride with a whiplash of unique sequences and ideas that really innovate what you can do in a video game. Let's go into more detail. So what is the game about? Well, we've got a series of ritualistic murders in the Pacific Northwest. FBI agent Saga Anderson is on the case with her partner, Alex Casey.
Saga and Casey go down as literature's best law enforcement duo. The salt shaker story had me rolling on the floor.
Along the way of trying to solve the complex case, they run into some crazy things like
supernatural forces of darkness.
Meanwhile, title character Alan Wake is trapped in the Dark Place, a nightmare dimension that takes the form of New York City. Their paths cross in weird and interesting ways.
The worlds and characters echo each other in unique and surprising ways. The overlap scenes in particular are rich examples of this theme.
This is Remedy's first survival horror game, and for a team who primarily made action games, the first Alan Wake included, they did a great job at crafting a modern survival horror.
Alan Wake 1 was very much known for its narrative, and it was telling a horror story, but then there was a bit of a dissonance between the story trying to have this slightly more slow burn feel to it and the kind of fast-paced action gameplay. So we just felt that there was much more of a cohesive fit between the genre of survival horror and the kind of story we wanted to tell for the sequel.
Clearly taking inspiration from the recent Resident Evil titles. The enemy encounters are drastically reduced from the previous game. Almost too much so, especially given the amount of resources you are given. That would be my only complaint with the game, it's too easy. Hopefully the Nightmare mode is a lot better and gives me those Resident Evil 7 Madhouse or Evil Within 2 Nightmare difficulty vibes. Speaking of those games, how scary is this one in comparison? I'd say it's around Resident Evil 7 or Evil Within 1 amounts of scary, mostly due to the atmosphere and disturbing content. Yeah, this game has some jump scares, an absurd amount of them. Some will get you. They're kind of annoying, and they kind of address it too, which is cool.
Oh, come on.
The gameplay is really engaging with these intense encounters. Combat could feel like a chore in the first game, but here every encounter is fun. We play as Saga and Alan. We start off as Saga, where we're investigating these murders. The detective work gameplay here is pretty cool and immersive, especially on a first playthrough. We have this case board where we can connect the details of the investigation. On a repeat playthrough, it helps that this is mostly optional, but is required for progress in certain parts, but is pretty quick to do. Saga can also do some profiling to determine motives and extract the truth out of certain people. As Alan, we have some trippy stuff going on, as we are going through a story that Alan has forgotten he's written. Alan has some pretty cool mechanics that alter the world around him, which makes for some cool environmental puzzles.
The dark place reacted to my story. The way into the tunnels was no longer blocked.
The general game design is pretty good, very reminiscent of recent Resident Evil titles. The classic survival horror elements are here, but still very modernized and streamlined. The areas are not quite Silent Hill apartment building or Resident Evil mansion, but the vibes are there. There's even the classic Silent Hill, you're on the first floor. You go through a door and all of a sudden you're on the second floor. That stuff is cool. There's the Resident Evil item box taking the form of a shoebox. Love the amount of backtracking back and forth after collecting items. Feels very classic. But unfortunately, I think there's a bit too much items in the game. Even just normally during the main path, but also going out and getting hidden stashes, which are fun to collect. But also enemies drop stuff. This game has an incredible story. If for some reason you haven't played the game yet, I'll walk around some details when discussing it, but some of this stuff demands to be experienced firsthand. I'll dive into more specifics later to drive home just how awesome this game is.
Return is a story that can't help but pull you in.
Return is a true masterpiece. I'll give it a perfect score of 5 Alma beers out of 5.
But yeah, this is peak storytelling. This game has got the vibes down, taking inspiration from films like Seven, Zodiac, Hereditary, also taking inspiration from shows like True Detective, Twin Peaks, and Hannibal. There's some mind-boggling stuff here. It's layers upon layers of complex ideas and concepts. The dark, disturbing, psychological horror atmosphere, accompanying with some moments of peacefulness and levity, where we really get to take in the world around us.
You have the worst sense of direction.
Any city in America I can get through drunk and blindfolded. It's these damn trees.
Okay.
One moment will be a jolly interaction with the townsfolk on a nice day leading up to Deerfest.
I got you both some coffee.
You know, I wouldn't say no to another.
I played some D&D back in the day. Wizard was always my favorite class.
Morning, Sheriff!
And in another moment, we're in some Silent Hill hotel with disturbing writing and blood scrawled across the walls. The stakes feel very high for both characters. There's such an intense feeling going on as these characters are trying to escape the situation they're finding themselves in. The characters are really good, you really feel attached to them, and the side characters and NPCs you talk to are really great too, providing a great atmosphere.
Oh my god.
Visually, this game is crisp. The Northlight engine is putting in some work here. Character models are pretty good, but the facial animations, especially for the NPCs, is freakily good.
Oh, I know what this is. You're blocking out your traumatic memories.
The highlight here is the environments. The game proves you can go with a realistic look while also having some strong art direction and style. This atmosphere is incredible. It's up there with games like The Last of Us, Evil Within, and Alien Isolation. The choice of environment as well is perfect. A creepy forest, a dark city, abandoned subway tunnels, abandoned coffee-themed amusement park, Victorian-esque nursing home, it's too good. Don't even get me started on the overlap segments. Pure disturbing atmosphere going on here. And also a theater. It's so cool. Also, this game has some of the best use of music I've ever seen in a game.
Music is part of the storytelling and an important component. When Petri Alanko was working on the soundtrack of the first game, it was a wonderful experience and collaboration. I feel that looking back to the soundtrack that went on to win multiple awards,
Sam Lake has overtaken Kojima for me in terms of being able to implement music in his games. He got a whole bunch of talented artists to make music specifically for his game. You better not skip them at the end of each chapter.
I wanted to be really ambitious with the storytelling in Alan Wake 2 and include music for the storytelling as well, with lyrics acting as an extension to the story. We have created a number of custom songs for the game. I showed the game, talked about the themes and the story around each song that we needed, and provided poetry that I had written as a starting point for the lyrics. What I really wanted, that the song camp is a songmaker's paradise. The only rule that we had was the lyrics need to be about the story.
Every single thing on those songs that we did is based on those poems and those visuals that we saw. So,
it's a very different vibe.
And I've played Remedy games since Death Rally, really, like all the way from like the first game. So I didn't know what the song camp was for. they didn't like, they wanted to kind of keep it really hush-hush. But when I saw Sam walking like in the lobby, I felt like starstruck. It was like, that's Max Payne walking in the lobby, like, and oh shit, it's a Remedy camp. I knew right away that we're doing something for a new Remedy game.
Now we have 7 incredible songs elevating the whole game experience at the end of key episodes. There are these highlights in all of these game projects. Really, this whole thing, working with these artists and having these songs really, really crafted to be about the story. I'm sure that I will treasure the memory of the whole experience forever.
Of course, Poets of the Fall is back under the moniker Old Gods of Asgard with 3 whole new songs, and they're all fantastic.
I'll light 'em up.
Anderson, stock up on ammo.
Poets of the Fall ever since Max Payne 2. And the big step forward in that was the idea of them assuming the role of an in-world fictional band of Old Gods of Asgard for Alan Wake. And songs that were custom made to comment on the plot and the lore of the world.
When Sam came back to me and said that they're actually doing more Alan Wake and they wanted Old Gods to have an even sort of bigger role in it, and that was very exciting. I don't think there was ever a question in our minds about whether we would do it or not. It's always been so much fun to do that stuff, and it's challenging in its ways, but it's also educational from the get-go. It was like, yeah, let's do this.
Coupling the amazing presentation of the game is the incredible live-action implementation. There's a few uses of this. One is these awesome Koskela Brothers commercials, which are hilarious.
Did somebody call for a tour guide?
Oh, wow. Koskela Brothers Adventure Tours.
As Alan, we are following the story of his own fictional character, Alex Casey, and we see his story play out in live action that blends seamlessly into the gameplay.
The city was a monster, poised to tear into you the second you let your guard down. You thought you had it tamed, that you knew what the hell you were doing.
Welcome back to the show.
Also, in Alan's part of the game, there are primarily live-action cutscenes, which are really well made, with incredible sets and great performances.
We've all been dying to know what "it's not a lake, it's an ocean" really means.
You and me both.
The live-action elements are part of the horror for sure. We are using blended video on top of the game footage for these very strange, nightmarish visions.
Alan Wake as a franchise is very much supernatural, very dreamlike. So it allows us to kind of lean on that and then utilize live action in a way that doesn't feel disconnected from that kind of overall experience.
Using live action filmed footage in our games comes from several different directions. Our games are set in a version of present day. And there I feel that building the world using the mediums that are present in our lives is important and makes it more believable and is just a very logical choice. We are almost like shifting through layers of reality, so we are falling into these live action bits that you see on the screen and experiencing that and then falling out of them again.
Doing more live action is very, very exciting for me.
Yeah.
I love doing motion capture and all that, but being with it's fantastic.
I feel lucky that I have been able to stuff all kinds of crazy experimental things into this experience. Atmosphere and horror and interactive storytelling and mixing of different mediums together, all of that combined into what Alan Wake 2 is.
And the performances from Ilkka Ville and Matthew Peretta, they put in some serious work in here.
Where am I? Who am I? Alan Wake. Wake? That's a strange name, eh? Wake? That sounds like a character's name. I write that name up? I make that name up? I don't want to be a character. I don't want to be in the story. Just write the story. This is your story. It never was your story. The story is a monster. The story will eat you alive. The darkness is coming. The darkness inside. This is my story. You're in my story. Get out of my story. You are a character in my story. You can't stop the story. This story will go on forever. There's no escape. You will never escape. You will drown here. You're stuck in a loop. You don't have a clue.
To me, Ilkka Villi, the physical actor of Alan Wake, and Matthew Poreda, the voice actor of Alan Wake, that is who Alan Wake is. There was never any question of Alan Wake being portrayed by anyone else.
This is how it works. Ilkka will paint a picture, and then he'll send it to me, and then I'll paint a little bit on the picture, and then I send it back to him. There's this kind of collaboration that we do, and it's very rare that you see us in the same place together. It's singular, and it's ours.
Did you write these pages, Mr. Wake?
I'm trying to remember it.
When we were making Alan Wake 1, we always used to say that he's terrified but cool. I don't think that a lot of the coolness is left. He's in deep trouble.
There's no escape. You will never escape. You will drown here. You are stuck in a loop. You don't have a clue. You are lost.
There's a humanity to him that you're going to see in this game that you didn't get in the first game. There's a depth.
Ilkka Villi also gets the role of Thomas Zane, who is super weird, but a lot of fun.
And cut! Oh. Now that is drama.
Melanie Liburd brings a great new dynamic as Saga.
It's sure that we find the right actor for the role, and we were looking for quite a while for Saga.
Hi, I'm Melanie Liburd, and I'm playing Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2. This is my first time working in this medium and doing a game. It's just nice to learn something new. The voiceover part of it can be very intense when you get in the booth, but I've learned so much.
All of us have been working with Melanie, and because of the writing process being ongoing, there are always new ideas and writing it more and more specifically to her as a role.
I'm excited for the world to see Saga because I think she's a brilliant role model. And just to see a woman in this role, a woman of color being a protagonist in a game that we don't see that often, and just to have a lifestyle that she has, doing her best to balance work and a family, and I just think that's really relatable for a lot of people.
David Harewood is also incredible and super captivating as the mysterious, sometimes charismatic, sometimes scary Mr. Door.
No one said otherwise, Mr. Wake. It was to indulge you, but we can stop pretending now.
My name is David Harewood, and I'm playing a character called Walling Door in Alan Wake 2. This is my talk show in between with Walling Door. Alan Wake is here. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers and guests on the show. He seems fairly affable and friendly and fun. But as the story develops, I think you get an idea that Door is not quite the person who he seems to be. As an actor and a gamer, it's just really cool to be not just in a video game, but to be in a video game made by who I think are probably some of the best video makers. Their storytelling is fantastic, and some of it's really dark.
And of course, Sam Lake and James McCaffrey are an incredible dynamic duo as Max Payne, Alex Casey.
I was trying to track down a missing writer. My only clue was a table lamp, shaped like an angel.
These days, it requires actual acting, motion capture and performance capture. It's been wonderful to act with great professional actors that we have as part of this experience. I feel that I have learned a ton.
I was at times almost depressed because he's this wonderful writer, a great director, great artistic director, and then he turns out to be a very good actor as well. So it's too much for one person, I think, at times.
Also about writing, needing to act out those scenes, you tend to have discoveries that you wouldn't otherwise, and realize that maybe these things should be taken into account when writing a scene.
Saw him in the hallway at Remedies, and this is so hard, and I was yes. Now you know. I've been doing this for years, and now you know how hard it is. So I was really happy that he got to experience that. And he had some of those moments that he would ask the director, he would ask, like, just show the script and ask, do I have to actually do this? And Ansi would say, but you wrote it, man. You wrote it. yeah, but it's like a different thing. Now I'm the actor. I was the writer then.
Man, and just now learning about James McCaffrey passing away, this is really devastating. Getting to learn his voice through the Remedy games. Max Payne, Director Trench, and Alex Casey are nothing without him. He will be missed, but he will live on through his works in the Remedy games and beyond. Rest in peace.
They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
Now, as great as Sam Lake is, he's a liar. He's going on about how you can play Alan Wake 2 standalone. I mean, you can play Alan Wake 2 by itself, but man, not only does it really help everything make sense to have played the first game, but also you will have a much bigger hype level and appreciation for this game if you have delved into the Remedy connected universe. And here, Remedy's games are all in the same universe. Yes, all of them. Legally and officially, it's only Alan Wake and Control, as Rockstar has the rights to Max Payne and Microsoft has the rights to Quantum Break. But come on, clearly with the commentary on different realities and dimensions discussed in this and Control, Alex Casey being who he is and clearly a version of Max Payne, and Tim Breaker, Time Breaker, played by Sean Ashmore, has a different reality of Jack Joyce from Quantum Break. In fact, he says as much.
What's this new theory?
It's a lot, so buckle up. You have your doubles, and I keep dreaming about other versions of me, right? Now this makes me think there must be other realities besides ours. But ours is connected to the rest of them. Dor might even be a part of the reason why. He seems to be the only constant, but what does he want? What's he planning? Sorry. You've got your own problems. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy trying to make sense of this. You know, maybe this whole thing is much bigger than what we're able to see. Or everything I just said is bullshit. Who knows?
I love how not exactly very subtle it all is, with this very specific connection with Tim and Dor that never gets explained, except for this whiteboard which bears a huge resemblance to the chalkboard in Quantum Break, with all the Alan Wake stuff. Dor himself is pretty much meant to be Hatch from Quantum Break, who was played by Lance Reddick, who was very clearly meant to be Mr. Dor, which really upsets me, man. Lance was one of my favorite actors.
Need a new desk. Whether we wanted it or not, we've stepped into a war with the Cabal on Mars.
She always brought a gravitas to his role. That voice, man.
We know that we were chosen for a reason. By something greater than ourselves.
Commander Zavala in Destiny, Titan Forever, The Wire, Fringe, John Wick. He was even great in that Resident Evil Netflix show.
Bro, chill.
His characters were a lot of fun in that.
These are legit. Excuse me, more breadsticks.
Looks like you still have a few left.
This is my unlimited basket. They need their unlimited baskets.
I'm sorry, sir. It's one per table.
But that's a limit.
I can easily see him as Dor. Rest in peace. David Harewood is excellent though. But yeah, in that whiteboard, Tim literally lists out synonyms for Dor, where you can easily put in the word Hatch. There's also a mention of a red-headed woman, which of course points to Jessie, but also Beth Wilder from Quantum Break, played by Jessie's actress Courtney Hope. Speaking of, there's an abundance of ties to Control here. We got the FBC front and center, Ahti, who if anything is given a bigger role here than I think even in Control. Very excited for Control too. Also, the thing that confirms Quantum Break being in this universe is the mention of polyhedrons. Tim draws out all these polyhedrons, which, in Quantum Break, the most important thing in that game was the countermeasure device, which was a polyhedron. I'd be really interested to see if they sneak any subtle details into the Max Payne remake. But yeah, it is very worth it to have played all their other games, especially Alan Wake 1, Control, and even Alan Wake American Nightmare. But yeah, go play the game already. What are you still doing here if you haven't? I mean, let's just go into some stuff here. This game has the most confident title drop I have ever seen. Full body chills. This is incredible. This is such an intense opening, starting off as this naked dude in the forest, getting killed by this murder cult. This is, of course, Nightingale from the first game.
Nightingale's shocking death at the beginning is the first in a non-stop parade of shocks.
And again, the use of live action here is really cool. I mean, let's just talk about it. This game has a musical sequence. It is the greatest scene in a game ever.
Music tells a story. Music plays many different roles, all of them important to us in our games. And we are always looking for new ways to use it. Maybe one of these days I'll get to fulfill my dream and create a game that's also a musical.
Okay, no other game this year did that. So this means Alan Wake 2 is Game of the Year by default. Okay, look at this stuff. It is so cool. The song is such a banger. It's the greatest thing ever. They're dancing. They're dancing. Sam Lake is out here dancing. David Harewood and Matthew Peretta can sing. It's incredible. Look at Ilka Villi dance. Look at this. How is this not the greatest thing ever? If you don't like this, you have outed yourself as being boring. This is so much fun. This will cure your depression. This is the greatest thing ever. Baldur's Gate 3 kinda had this with the Raphael boss fight, which was pretty cool, but this just takes it to a whole other level.
Dark shades could never save the day. So sad, but true. Such a dark place, am I trapped in here? Is this real? I cannot remember. There was a manuscript, it held a key. A vicious cycle I must not surrender to. Echo seems to seek out again and again until I figure it out to bring this song to its end. Can you help me out?
A close runner-up for me is the scene where you first meet Thomas Zane. This scene is so much fun. Ilka Villi hams it up as Thomas Zane. He is so fun to watch. Love them partying in this room, coming up with the idea for initiation and return. And of course, the cameo from Jesse and Darling, dude. So hype.
They're all yours. If anyone asks, you were never here.
The overlap sequences as well are my favorite parts of this game.
The wave crashed on the far side of the mirror. I brought you the Heart Witch. Show me the terror.
First time you go into the overlap is one of my favorite parts of the game. The overlap sequences always has this incredible, dark, disturbing atmosphere, especially the bunker area. It's got some Last of Us vibes, and the Cynthia Weaver water monster is really scary. Also in the theater section with Alan, we get to watch a whole short movie. Again, what other game did that? This is incredible. Sam Lake straight up acted in a whole short film that you can watch in a theater in this game. It's actually a really good psychological horror movie.
En kierrä kehää. Tämä on spiraali.
The whole ending sequence as well is incredible. You have this rock show with the old gods of Asgard playing Dark Ocean Summoning. It is so much fun to play. I didn't mind dying here at all. I loved playing this segment over and over again. When you play as Alan after Saga has been thrown into the lake, that Alan Wake 1 music coming in, it's the greatest thing ever. The heroic speech as he dives into the dark place one more time.
It had taken me 13 years to get out. Now Alice was dead because of me. And I was gonna make that leap again, this time knowing the cost all too well. Another way to look at it, I had brought the dark place here with me. I never had gotten out. Maybe after this I finally could. It was a fool's hope. I had no choice. I had to do it. That didn't make me any less terrified. Fuck it.
The Alice segments at Parliament Tower. It's disturbing. We get into some disturbing, depressing stuff here. The game is surprisingly really disturbing, especially in the part where Saga is in the dark place. This is a really good depiction of mental health.
Scratch took Casey, and it's my fucking fault. I'm a failure. This is what I deserve. She's not dead. God damn it.
Using the caseboard mechanics, it's so genius. It's such an impactful part of the game for me. And the ending is absolutely insane. This whole loop just keeps on going.
This is still the dark place, another dream to wake up from, always coming back to the beginning. The memory of what came before burned away by this terrible realization. Maybe it's a mercy, forgetting. To know nothing when we loop around, back to the beginning. We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer. Sometimes it would be better to live with that hope without ever knowing the full story.
But it's a spiral, which means we can get out.
Alan, I think we're getting close.
It's not a loop. It's a spiral.
What an incredible game, and it is being heavily recognized. Here in the awards season, it has racking up so many awards. It won Critics' Choice at the Golden Joysticks, it won Times Game of the Year, and at the Game Awards, the big one, it won Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, and Best Game Direction. It was so awesome to see Sam Lake accept those awards and his hard work paying off. And also that Herald of Darkness live performance was incredible. I lost my mind when Sam Lake showed up and was dancing on stage. The smile on his face, dude, that is such a feel-good moment.
And the award goes to Alan Wake 2.
Thank you so much. Alan Wake 2, from the beginning, was a very story-focused project for us. I share this with the whole narrative team, the writers, Clay, Tyler, Sinikka, narrative designers who made the story into gameplay, Simone, Molly, the whole narrative team, directors working with actors, Anssi, Hannah, Rosie, Holly, all the wonderful actors here tonight, some of them, Melanie, Ilkka, Matt and David, but the whole cast, wonderful actors, and the song makers who made custom music, custom songs to extend the story. Here tonight later, Poets of the Flawless, Old Gods of Asgard, Poe, This Road, every songmaker coming through Fright Music for our chapter songs. Thank you. We wanted to push things further, to do something new, and it's always a risk. For you to embrace it and understand it means so much. I'll treasure this always. Thank you.
Alan Wake 2.
Thank you. We want to thank Epic, Hector, Nico for believing in our vision.
Crazy vision.
Crazy vision, yes. Direction is nothing without a team to actually build it. And huge thanks to Remedy team for joining us on this venture, wanting to believe in it and build it. You know, we can pull into different directions and nothing comes out of it. But when more than 100 people believe in the same vision and build something out of it, we can make miracles. We can make art, and we can be more than the sum of our parts. Our world today could use a bit more of that.
That's a nice one. One other thing. Next Monday, December 11th, New Game Plus, the final draft is going to be coming out. New story content. So yeah, go play it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Game Awards.
And I present to you the Old Gods of Asgard featuring the best-selling writer Alan Wake. This is Herald of Darkness.
From what I gathered, you grew up nice and sheltered with mama's pretty stories and your own made-up theory. And mama gave me a magic clicker. Well, yes, I think it's true and fair to say. Come on in, Elias, and lost world. Series of crime and chilling thrillers of hard-boiled killers became bestsellers. It was all too much, I had to get away.
The story's the end, all a piece of true fiction, made meaningless in the face of creation.
But there is more to it than meets the eye. I never meant for it to ruin my life that way. Would you say you lived a jaded lie? Dark shades could never save the day. So sad, but true.
Fun in the nightmares, touching the lights, which a gift or a curse, a reality made of dreams. Show me the champion of light. I'll show you the herald of darkness, lost in the never-ending night, diving deep to the surface.
I'm so glad this exists. And of course, they announced the release of New Game Plus, adding so many cool details, so many cool new additions.
This is a spiral.
This is Dr. Casper Darling, formerly of the Federal Bureau of Control. My Doom Knight. I was caught in a loop. There. This voice. The narration. Is this the voice of the dreamer? What's strange is it sounds a little bit like my voice. This is a place for an artist. Oh. Hey, man, how you doing? Hello. Darling, Dr. Casper Darling, it is so good to meet you. Well, hello, darling. I'm Tom. Tom Zay. Have we met? You look familiar. Well, you sound familiar. Hold on. You work out a lot, don't you? I mean, look at you. You're swole. Well, I am active. Cheers. Get busy. You know what? You and I, we should join forces.
The ending worked. Scratch is gone.
At last.
Thank you, my love. And so I return. With me I bear the torch of knowledge, the light, the miracle illuminated, the master of two worlds. No, the master of many worlds.
So incredible. And I'm so excited to see what the DLC is gonna bring up. Night Springs and the Lake House. We'll see those hopefully early next year. It's so incredible, the 13-year journey that this game took, from it not gonna happen due to financial reasons to trying to incorporate Alan Wake and Quantum Break and then doing it in Control, the remastered edition, and then finally the announcements and just the game finally releasing to massive critical acclaim and it getting its due reward. and recognition is so inspiring and such a success story for Remedy, and I cannot wait to see what they do next with the DLC, with Control 2, Max Payne remake, Alan Wake 3 maybe. I'm so excited to see where the Remedyverse goes next.
Forever I am circling back, just to fall into this trap, this winding road.
Why no love for Barry? Is our dear author planning something for the future?